I'm just gonna start us off as always with who we are. This is me, Mostrino. This is my voice.
I'm kovak.
I'm IMG.
And I'm Jace.
And this is our catalog crew for today. So as always with our tracks from last week, since we didn't have an episode last week, we're actually doing the past 2 weeks. So starting out, we're going to go all the way back to Fade Out, which is Bensley's second track on the label. Now, my thoughts on it, I thought it was kind of nice. Not amazing, but I thought it was a neat track and another good follow-up to his debut.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to All Night, where I like what's there, but there isn't a whole lot there to really talk about. Like I guess like the vocal chop lead is like a nice kind of throwback to more like old school kind of drum and bass and whatnot. But other than that, there's really not much to say in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree there, but like I don't know why, but I liked Fade Out more than All Night. Just no real reason to it. Like I don't know, it had a bit more substance to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot more like not jump up the genre, but it's a lot more jumpy of a song. I agree with what you said, where it's kind of there, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't see myself coming back to it a whole lot, but I don't dislike it. You know, like Kovak said, it's nice for what it is.
Yeah.
I really like the artwork too, just the trees.
Yeah.
I don't like the
I really
font,
like
though.
that. I know. I seem to like the artworks that are just one big letter or something like that. Like with Fallen or Laszlo.
Yeah,
Sure
and then All Night was the same kind of deal, except it was like the neon lights or something.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, it's a neat artwork. I will give it that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Moving on to Tuesday's release is the Direct and Cloud None collab. This is, like their 7th one, which is Further. And at least, I mean, I don't know what you guys think of it, but for me, I really do not care for it. I actually think it might be their weakest collab. It just kind of fell flat for me.
I agree with that.
Yeah, totally. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just listening to too much Future Garage, but like, I don't know. It just did not do anything for me.
It's not bad, but it's kind of just. It seems like a mashup of all their 5 past collabs. Like, it doesn't do anything different, but I really hope that it's cohesive for the whole EP. Like, it just helps. I'm sure it'll bring the EP together too.
It's a lot like what was the Bad Boy from Cloud Nune's first EP with like the sort of minimal bassy Future Garage, but I enjoyed it up until like the second half where like that lead starts coming in, which is really really grating for me. Like it throws the track completely off my enjoyment.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think we can all agree that this isn't too great of a collab, which is kind of a shame because they kind of definitely hit a peak with their last EP. But hopefully, as they continue to collab in the future, we can get some more good tunes from the two of them.
Yeah,
So,
probably gonna get another one in like 3 months anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're just gonna keep pumping it out because that's what
Yeah.
Cloud9 likes to do. So then, right afterwards, the Thursday's Uncaged release is yet another single from Muzz's upcoming debut album, and this one is Somewhere Else, which I know my opinion is not the majority opinion, but everything that's not the drop I find to be spectacular, fantastic world building, but the drops themselves seemed a little tame for me.
On the other hand, I really loved Somewhere Else. The artwork's really good, and I just really like the progressive sounding drum and bass that it is. Like, I don't know if it's tech step or dance floor, but it's just really like progressive.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of like Outsiders and like, you know, in that kind of vein. The one okay, this isn't even really related. I mean, it is related to the track, but not related to the actual music. Can Muzz please just stop releasing singles off this LP? I do not want this to turn into another like Dogma Resistance.
Yeah, true. They released like the entire album before putting it out.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't as bad, but like, you know, we have 4 singles, and then Starglide was confirmed for Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So that's 5, and the album's 11. So that's like a little under half the album. Once you get to like that halfway point, it's like, no, just release the goddamn album.
True. Yeah. That's a good
point.
Yeah.
Now when we have the next Uncaged comp, it's literally going to be flooded with Muzz tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them, isn't it? But
isn't it Uncaged Volume 10 so far like 90% drum and bass?
Yeah,
it's pretty. Yeah.
There's only one song below 150 BPM, which is Saison Essinger song. There is, depending on what you count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by the time Starglide comes out, assuming Vagrant is drum and bass. That's 7 out of like 10. Not 10, 13, which is over half.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is gonna be definitely an interesting one because we're used to having it like all dubstep and bass house for the Uncaged, but if we keep on this trend, it's gonna be mostly drum and bass, which is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So then, Friday's release, a very special one, "Let Go" by Good Times Ahead and Tony Romero, which I found it to be most similar to Loverus, or however you pronounce it, which was a track I really enjoyed. I don't like this one quite as much, but it's nice. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I liked it. I haven't watched the music video because I don't want to scar my eyes like that. I've seen clips of it, but I don't want to listen to it with music. But the artwork is just... I like the song, but the artwork is one of the worst on the label. You don't have a giant font, and then...
Yeah. And then wasn't it that like the bottom artwork wasn't even lining up properly or something?
Yeah, the text wasn't straight.
Oh, yeah.
How do you even mess that up?
Yeah, the T is like a smaller in times. It's like a smaller font size than the I, which is a smaller font size than the M. Or it's it's 1 pixel lower.
That's so cursed.
Yeah.
I think this Let Go is probably my least favorite Monster Cat release of the year so far.
Dang.
I think other than the intro is like passable but really, really forgettable, but in the drop you have a bass that's like way unnecessarily louder than everything else, but also has no impact at all. A melody that sounds like it's coming out of a dollar store, a MIDI piano, and then the vocal line, which is so like poorly processed that it doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, when it first came out, it sounded like a mashup of Heatwave and Loverus. Which,
if you ask me, it needs to be a bit more like melodic if it's gonna fit on Instinct. It kind of like this and like the Roman Silver track are kind of like starting to blur the line, I think, between Instinct and Uncaged.
Lately, there's been a lot of that. Like, this is my personal opinion, but I wouldn't have batted an eye if somewhere else was Instinct. And other songs, I would not have batted an eye.
Yeah, like By My Side, honestly, I could see that as Uncaged. It's chill for Julian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
It's not even
Julian Calor.
Julian Calor, but
that even then, it's like the Spanish word.
Calor.
That's calor.
Nice.
I always
as far as Let Go, it really does kind of feel like Loverus, except they didn't go all the way. You know, they still wanted to keep it bass house, but they wanted it to sound like an Instinct track, and it's just like in an unhappy middle area, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have this theory that I could be completely wrong on this, but I seem to remember Bensley making a comment that his next release after All Night would be Instinct. So I have this like really absurd theory that Let Go and Fade Out switched last minute.
I mean, yeah, because I honestly could see Fade Out Instinct as well. Yeah. They're really wacky on that.
We haven't gotten to it, but I could see Neo Soul being Instinct as well. Like, I think the only reason they put it on Uncaged was because of the screamo vocals
and the second drop.
And the second drop probably.
Yeah. But even still, like, that's not that much.
Yeah.
It's literally the same thing they did with Cave Me In by Fowler. It was like that 30 seconds that was a little bit heavier, and they're like, okay, this is definitely Uncaged.
Or Don't Forget Me, where the second drop hadn't been finished when they released the Instinct preview.
Yeah.
True.
And like,
rest in peace, man. I mean, I like Don't Forget Me as it is. I mean, not as much as I probably would have liked the all melodic, but like, come on, man. I want to see it like maybe like a VIP type thing, you know, where it's like all melodic.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this before, but Odin's Ghost that should have been Uncaged. Like it's heavier.
Yeah, because if Fool is Uncaged, then why is Odin's Ghost Instinct? You know.
Yeah.
Because it's so similar.
Yeah, it's not like it's heavily slid to one side. It's not like there's a ton of Instinct that's on Uncaged or a ton of Uncaged that's on Instinct. It's even.
Just messed up.
It doesn't make any sense. Like it would make sense if they had more Uncaged releases that they accepted to the label and they had to do stuff with some of them, but
it's equally really messed up on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on, I know we mentioned this one just a few seconds ago, but then the following week we have Monday's release, the Saezon, or however you pronounce it, and Essenger collab Neo Soul, which, at least my thoughts on it, I really didn't care for the screaming at first, but after a few listens, it started to grow on me pretty dramatically, and this is shaping up to be one of my favorites of the year, honestly.
Yeah,
I definitely agree there.
Yeah, I liked it, and then I didn't like it, and now it's starting to grow on me. And then, fun fact about it, the original artwork they showed for it had MCS. It was 972.
It was the same one as Only Solutions.
Wow.
It had the number for Heatseeker, but it was probably the one during Only Solutions and was pushed. And then they put up Only Solutions, which that was like 4 months before it was released.
Yeah, because wasn't there something wacky with Only Solutions about, I don't know. I remember talking about.
Yeah, there was a what was his name? He had like two releases on it. Kill the Noise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
debunked, I believe.
Wait, so that wasn't releasing, or that was releasing?
That's what the original thought was, but I think that was debunked. That was just something someone came up with as a fake.
Ah, damn.
And then this
it's kind of disappointing.
But then with this being one single number off, then that kind of maybe debunks that or makes that a little more confusing.
Yeah,
at least.
Because it's the single number matching with Uncaged or Instinct for Neo
It
Soul?
matches with Heatseeker, and then between Only Solutions and Heatseeker, you had the Cloud9 and Direct EP.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't really have mattered.
Yeah, because that's not a single anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what about the track? What are you guys' thoughts on the track itself?
It's probably like one of my favorite tracks of the year. I like especially in the first drop, the balance between the melodic sort of very heavy melodic synth with I'm like failing on words, but really the mix between like heavy and melodic is done really well in the second drop, or in the first drop, and then the second drop is some of like the most interesting mid-tempo bass stuff that I've heard in a long time, and then Messenger's vocal performance is amazing as always.
Yeah,
I pretty much have to agree like entirely with that. So
yeah,
because a lot of Essenger's like synthwave stuff on his album that he released, I really enjoyed it. It was really cool and retro like they have here, but it was more chill and didn't have as much impact. So being able to hear like such a strong impact in this track really is what, drove it home.
Yeah.
So following it, we have, this one's actually my birthday release, woohoo, but it is the Julian Color track, By My Side, which I know this isn't a super popular one. I don't think it's one of his best, but I do enjoy it. It's kind of one of his weaker ones, like I said, but I do think it's a neat track.
Yeah, I don't like this one. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I just don't.
This whole past week for me has been kind of iffy, and like the song, I like it, but it doesn't do that much.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd at least switch up the second drop or something, or at least do the signature Julian Color 2-second trap fade out and then disappointing back into the. But he didn't even do that, which was kind of wacky to hear.
Yeah, that's sort of my biggest problem with this track is that he played it really safe on this one, just in general. And also, if this was like a track that was released on like a Spin-In Records sub-label in like 2016, I wouldn't have bat an eye. Like, it's very much of that sound.
He does still have the space flute on his back in the artwork.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Bro, I didn't even notice that.
oh, hey, yeah, it does.
Which has been in it's in the artwork for Galactic Trumpet. It's in Harp.
That's cool. I like the
Wisdom.
callback. Yeah, I see it in Wisdom as well. That's neat.
Yeah, it's in You Might Get Lost as well. I really like this new artwork style. Like, not that the old one is bad or anything, but just it seems really clean.
Yeah.
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 And oh wait, is this I'm checking to see if it's in No Fear Anymore as well. You can see the I mean, actually I don't know if that's a flute, but it's something on his back, which is interesting to see.
It's probably the flute.
So that's cool that they're kind of linked. It's pretty neat when artists do that. So yeah, art game strong. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
And they bring back the catalog numbers on it.
Oh yeah.
Now it's just Monster Cat.
Well, they have on that artwork. They have MCS a 1027 above the and below the name.
Yeah, which is neat. And I kind of do like the stylings here. It's pretty interesting, but I mean, thematically, the song really isn't doing anything. It's just, a song. Versus like Neo Soul, which is trying to be like all retro and futuristic. This one's just kind of doesn't really have any theme going for it.
Yeah.
On my side feels a lot like a filler EP track.
The end of it.
Yeah, like the end where the pianos get
like
all like discordant. It sounds like it sounds a lot like it's trying to go into something else.
So, moving to the past week's release on Thursday, we have Form by Slippy, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually quite a huge fan of this one. It's probably my favorite Slippy track in a long time, maybe since like the Stars layout, honestly. It's just I love all like the choir elements and how dramatic it is, and it's got quite a bit of variation as well, which I find really nice to hear.
Yeah, I really like the song. The one thing I don't like is the artwork. It's just too like the shine, the pink shine on the right just distracts the eyes too much. But the song I really liked. I didn't expect to like it, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like this is what I wanted Own Me and Metaphysical to like be. Like this is like I mean Own Me was good, but like I don't know. I just I don't know. I didn't see myself coming back to it really, and Metaphysical really.
Yeah. Own Me had like such a dramatic and epic intro, but like the drop just kind of felt like a letdown, which this one is it actually was able to use that in the drop, which was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably like it's the best because I always find it funny how he went from like being like early Slippy was very like distractingly minimal with some like melodic flair, and then like Metaphysical style was insanely hard and atonal and whatnot. And this is probably the first one since he started the Slippy alias that it's had like a good balance of the two. So
yeah, and then we don't talk about Quake because that one's kind of cursed.
That's a song that exists.
On the contrary, I like that song, but whatever. What do you guys think of the artwork? Because I find that like almost as bad as Let Go.
I mean, I don't like or dislike it. It just kind of exists for me,
Yeah, I don't think the glare's too distracting for me. It's just kind of like it's an artwork. It has form on it.
I like the colors though. The colors kind of seem to match the vibe of the track, if that makes sense. So I like those.
I'll agree with the colors, but there's just too much going on in it.
Form. So, finally, with the most recent release, we have the long-awaited Rome and Silver track, which is Friends. And I know some of you guys love this a lot more than I do, but I still find it to be a very, very neat track. It's funky, and it's really unique for the label standards, which is really neat to see.
Yeah, I love that it's basically like the best elements of his tracks, Yoko, and then his remix of Clint Eastwood that he both released a few months ago, and that it has like that very similar, like very bass heavy experimental sort of mid tempo-y kind of funk stuff. Which it's Roman Silver. He just puts so much. He has such an attention to detail in all of his stuff.
Yeah, I haven't listened to much Roman Silver, which I really should, you know. This was definitely, out of like all 5 of the Instinct ideas, this was literally the only one I cared about. And
yeah,
you know, I like this track a lot, but I kind of don't like the ending. Like, it kind of makes it seem like there's gonna be like one final drop, and like
it doesn't resolve.
Yeah, the ending.
Well.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man.
I like this song. Again, like this past week wasn't super phenomenal for me, but it wasn't bad. I really like this trap future bass ish sounding, although it's labeled as house, so whatever. But yeah, I also like the artwork, how it's like split in 4 ways, and you don't really see that many artworks with like real people pictures on it, I guess you could call it. I don't even
Aside
know
from
what
like
the
every
last
Coven
one was.
release.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it feels like, honestly, I kind of got like Joji vibes from it, like a Joji music video type thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a overall neat release. Hopefully, crossing our fingers, it's not a one-off and we can see Roman Silver come back, because this style is really something special.
Oh, so to be honest, I'd be really surprised if he drops another EP like 6 months after he dropped his one earlier.
True.
Never know.
So now, moving on to some of our tracks that have had anniversaries these past 2 weeks. The first one being Colossus by Droptech, which turned 5 years old last week, which, I mean, I really don't care too much for that style of drum and bass, but it's neat for what it is, and we still haven't seen Droptech around in a minute, so it's a neat little throwback.
Yeah, also, side note, I've been in this fam for 5 years. Jesus Christ. Like, seriously, like, oh my god. No, I don't know. I mean, this song is really energetic, but I don't know. It just doesn't hit well with me, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily skip it, but I wouldn't necessarily seek it out in my playlist.
Yeah.
It's like, granted, that album only has like 3 drum and bass songs. The Warhead and Feeling Stronger, I believe, High Maintenance remix.
Yeah.
But it's the weakest of the 3, and it's kind of cut rate Warhead.
Yeah.
Warheads kind of has that slapper first drop, which this is definitely lacking.
Yeah.
I think it just sort of has the same problem as a lot of Droptech songs for me, where he has good ideas, but he doesn't really do anything with those ideas.
Yeah.
Instead, just kind of lets the same one go for about 4 minutes. So
yeah, it doesn't really do enough to separate itself from his discography or most heavy drum and bass in general, you know.
Yeah.
And I believe this is on the same day, but turning 8 years is Saga by Direct, which is, if you haven't heard this one yet, you won't believe it's Direct, but it's Direct doing old heavy dubstep in what, like 2012, which is basically my thoughts on it. It's very dated. It's really nothing that I'd ever listened to ever. It's just a wacky piece of Direct music.
It's old Monster Cat. You can't say that much about it.
Yeah, exactly. Although I gotta admit, I said this before, but that little kind of synth stab thing, whatever you want to call it, sounds exactly like the MIDI version of Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites.
That borderline ruins the song for me, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
The following day, Tuesday, this was the day Further came out. We got the 1 year anniversary of Sanctuary by Bad Computer, which, at least my thoughts on it, I think it's like by far the most forgettable Bad Computer track. it's not bad, but for bad computer standards, it really doesn't do a whole lot that's memorable for me.
Yeah, I think it was a really big surprise that was on. Like that and Kebabi's was like a really big surprise that they were put on that album. Like they're not prominent artists compared to the rest on that list.
On the level, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really seem like a special track. It was kind of just there. And it's not bad by any means, but kind of lackluster.
Yeah, like they just said, oh, you know, here's all our releases. Oh, you know, this guy, he's released a couple stuff with us. Yeah, let's just throw it on the comp. Why not?
Yeah. Or the other thing is like, bad computer. I need you to make a track for the compilation. No one else wanted to do it. You have a week, go. And he just had to speed run that track.
Oh my God. I mean, you know, I kind of like its more minimal style, but I don't know. I think it's probably one of the weaker tracks on 8-year anniversary for sure.
Yeah.
So
I will say it's like weak for bad computer standards, but weak bad computer standards is still better than like a good amount of most of like Monster Cat artists' best.
yeah.
In my opinion, at least.
Yeah, if this was... I have the feeling like if it was made by an artist that... let's say it was made by Half and Orange, it would come as a much greater shock, and we'd probably appreciate it quite a bit more when you're comparing it to the rest of their discography, but seeing it come from Bad Computer is... It just feels a bit underwhelming.
Yeah. It's kind of like Voyage, where it's kind of just, at least for me, it was kind of just there. Like that, his older Instinct stuff, like compared to 2020 Instinct, was kind of just there. Like it wasn't bad, but it's
Because Sanctuary's production is similar to Voyage, but Voyage has like the vocals that, you know, you can get them stuck in your head, so this doesn't really have that going for them, aside from the vocal line in the verse that really is kind of not a big focus of the track. So then following it, turning 8 years as well, is Revolt by Resonate, which it's got a lot of cool ideas, and I think with modern production it could be really, really neat, but as it is now, there's really no reason to listen to it because it's just so dated.
Yeah, in my opinion, if the bass was a lot less muddy and the vocals were like pushed to the front of the track instead of being buried by sounds and just like other small mixing details, this would be like one of my favorite releases on the label if it like had good mixing.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's just 2012 vibes.
It suffers from old mixing.
You know, okay, all right, I'm gonna be honest here. I kind of want to see like some sort of not remixes, but you know, like remasters or something. Yeah, exactly.
So
for like
cool.
10-year or something like that.
And throw Move Me into that as well.
Yeah, I just wish that because if it was like remasters for 10-year, I would be kind of sad because all of the 001 tracks are kind of not good, even if they had good production. But to see some of like the 2012 tracks that have more potential being remastered would be really sick. But like if I'm
like,
seeing captivating 2020 version, it's like
God.
no, I'm out. It probably will sound the same.
Yeah, I'd love to see Bloodlip updated. Like it's a great song, but it could do updated production. There's I don't think it's Clocks, but the other one by Hot Date and
Overcome.
Overcome. That it's not a bad one, but it could do with updated production.
Yeah, and that heavy bit in the middle is really rough in Overcome.
Now I really want to see that. Like maybe not 10-year, but just maybe a holiday thing that they do instead of like VIPs, like updated production.
Or even not on the label, just like for the artist to do them and self-release would still be neat to see.
Yeah.
You know?
But with a lot of like the older artists who haven't released in 8 years, that's probably not gonna be easy.
Yeah, because like when was the last time Resonate dropped a track?
That would be Highlight, which was 2016, so 4 years ago.
Highlight.
Has he done anything off-label since then, or?
He had Sojourn, which was released in 2017 in like March, and I think he's had a few small things, but I think he's been mostly dealing with his own life.
So, moving on, we have I think this is the following day, Somewhere Else release day, where Extraordinary by Pegboard Nerds is somehow already 3 years old. It's kind of wacky.
Yeah, Jesus.
As far as
song. Beautiful song.
It's got good vocals, and it's meant to be kind of a fun, bouncy track, and I think it does it very well. And I mean, I don't really come back to it too much just because I keep kind of forgetting about that era, but it's a really nice track and really fun one too.
Yeah, I really like it. It's one of their better songs that they've had in a long while. And I'm pretty sure, like, when it first came out, I somehow expected it to be Bro Step, and then I was really surprised when it wasn't.
Yeah.
Or, like, I expected it to not be Instinct.
Yeah, because I still haven't heard any other Spiker, or however you pronounce it, releases aside from this track, so I have no idea what their style is. So, and I think, Pegwarners was mainly doing Uncaged around that time.
Yeah. Because they hadn't had Instinct for a while before that. I'll look it up, but you can talk.
I remember I hated this track when it came out. Like, seriously, I just despised this track so much. And then, I don't know when, it was like maybe like a year ago, maybe a little more, I came back to it and I was like, you know what, this is actually kind of a bop.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, I don't know, man. Fucking 2017 IMG was fucking whack.
That was the first IMG I knew.
That's true. That's true.
Bro, 2017, everyone was whack. Let's be
honest. Let's be real.
Yeah, aside from the songs that they've had on Nerds by Nature and Pink Cloud, that was their first Instinct single not released on an EP. As far as I can tell on the label. And I don't think they've had one since. Because they had Solo and the other one that were on
Crime
the EP.
Shame, yeah.
Yeah, which were on that EP. But otherwise, that might be their
only like released EPs for the longest time.
Yeah. Yeah, they really don't have a lot of singles in general, which is interesting. But this is one of their few ones, and it does happen to be Instinct, and good song. I think we can all agree on that. So, following that, released same day, 2 years earlier, turning 5 years old already, is Knock Me Out by Eminence. And honestly, I find this one to be kind of an underappreciated track. I find it to actually be really, really nice. And even though it's quite different for Eminence's style, I really enjoy it. Vocals are good too.
I think, on the contrary, I think I'd like this a lot more if there was a different vocalist, because in my opinion, Anna Saison is not at all a good fit for this type of song.
Yeah, I can agree there. I don't have much to say about it. It's all right. I remember the genre fights way back.
Yeah.
God.
Is it uplifting trance? Is it vocal trance? Is it pop? Is it house?
No, not even that far back. Like, is it house or is it trance or like just like the basic stuff? Like,
bro, is it drum step? Is it trap? You gotta tell me.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, honestly, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of the minority here, but I really do like that one.
It's not bad. Like, I won't skip it. I like it, but it's not a top tier track.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's definitely upper, like 40% probably.
Top 40% of all tracks.
Well, on the label.
Only the top 1% can get to level 15 on this mobile game.
Wobble.
So
I'll make you pump like that.
Following that, we have a bit to unpack here, because we actually have the entirety of the Girl Remixes EP turning 5 years old as well, which is also pretty wacky. So let's just go track by track. The first one, the Remix EP winner, whatever, the Color Source Remix. I don't know the general consensus on this, but I think it's pretty good. It's not amazing, but I like it. It's a nice remix.
My main comment is, why put more future bass on a future bass heavy album? Like, take another genre.
Oh, just because
they just love future bass back.
I think Color Source was a contest winner, so
Yeah. But then again, with what was it, Rain, like Centron won or someone like that, or was it D-Flint? One of the two, like, won, and they didn't even get on the comp at all.
That's wacky.
Yeah.
But now a lot of the winners they haven't had a whole lot of contests, but a lot of the winners for the past few years have been future based. You know, you got Elton Kit future based remix, you got the Box, which kind of got scuffed, you got the Marvels remix of Alone. So they've been kind of loving future based remixes lately. Falling North for Hide and Seek.
Oh yeah. And then I don't know if they picked one for Million Days, but it was probably future based.
It's probably future based.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I've ever talked about this publicly, but I thought that the Zan Griffin remix of Deeper Love should not have deserved that spot at all. Like, it barely changed the track whatsoever.
That's true.
Yeah, and like there was one remix that I really liked. I forget who it was by. I'd have to look.
That wasn't on the EP?
Yeah, it wasn't on the EP. It was one of the people who like submitted. It was like Trap, I think, ? Something like that. I'll find it later, but like that one I was like, oh my god, this needs to win, and I was like, rest in peace.
The only off-label one I know of, which I don't know that much, but I think Rootkit made a remix that was like drum step.
Huh.
Yeah, Rootkit also did a Deeper Love remix,
but he released that like a few months after, I think.
Yeah.
But
and then
I like the Snap remix. It's a little
Snaps. That's such a dumb pronunciation. It really should be Snaps.
Yeah.
It's not Snaps.
But
Snaps.
It's just a joke as far as I know.
Yeah.
Okay, we should probably get back to the Color Source remix.
Yeah. All I was gonna say is that, in my opinion, this is just a really generic future bass with really out of place percussion hits that are just, they don't fit with the song, in my opinion. Anyways, that's it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, me too.
Moving on, second one on this list here, we have the Mr. Fiji Ouija remix of The Girl, which honestly for me I found immensely disappointing, especially for Fiji. It's honestly, to me, it feels like a Fiji song that was half finished, and they told him, "Okay, time's up. You gotta submit." And he's like, "Okay, here's what I got." Because it has like the vocal chops and some elements that he always uses in his tracks, but it's missing so much that makes his tracks good. You know,
it sounds a lot like a neural network that's been trained to recreate a Mr. Fiji Ouija song, trying to do one. Like everything, it has everything that's there, but it just doesn't.
It's done poorly.
Mix.
Yeah.
I think the vocal chops don't work that well, and usually he's really good with his trap remix vocal chops, but they just don't work. I think that's the main thing for me.
Yeah. I feel this as like, you know, I really liked his Cold Skin and then Matches remix, and I feel like this is more of like a sort of prototype, that kind of style in a way. I kind of like it, but like, you know, it needs more substance. And
it's kind of like a lackluster Air remix.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds very similar to his remix of Air. Yeah, but then
just so good.
Even then, he did that remix before he did this one, so he can do a good trap remix. But this just wasn't it.
Yeah.
And then he has the only other trap like remix thing that he has, at least on the label, is the VIP of Yours Truly, which is good.
That's also good as well. Yeah, which that one does like minimal right, but this one tries to do that same thing and it just falls so flat.
Yeah. Another one that does like the minimal style really well is his remix of Memory by Direct.
Yes, that's true too. So I don't know. I really don't know what went wrong here, but it just kind of fell apart, which is sad to see because, I mean, I can't diagnose the problem here, but the problem is the remix.
Yeah.
Doctor, what's the problem?
Yes.
But yeah, so that one was kind of a shame to see because it's really one that I'd never listened to, which is, you know, Fiji really could have nailed this remix and it was just not going to happen. So following it on the list, we have the Nevo, however you pronounce it, remix.
Avino.
Which I think is his first track on the label. I think he didn't actually properly debut until after this. It's not amazing, but I think it's nice. You know, it's a chill, laid-back track. It's nice, but it's not, you know, too incredible.
Yeah,
I really like it.
It's a good summer track. If it was like cut down to only like 3 minutes, I'd love it a lot more. But it's okay.
Yeah, the intro and outro are really long, but
yeah,
I don't think it would benefit like the way that it progresses slowly into the song. I don't think it would benefit being shorter because it slowly changes itself to build in.
Yeah, I honestly do not care for this at all. Like, this is probably one of the weakest remixes that I've heard. I don't know. I just really do not like it.
Dang.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot to talk about the song. Like, it's got a guitar.
Yeah.
I like the melody, but even that, the melody's not like amazing or anything. It's just nice, you know.
Yeah.
But at least what I think is, and hopefully IMG can agree with me on this too, is that there's really nothing horrid here. It's just that there's nothing too great here either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would have preferred this to be on 0 to 3 though.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
I mean,
maybe capital A would be kind of cool, but like then again, I don't think, it. I mean, we'll get to it later, but it's not hard hitting, I guess. It's just kind of like smooth and like, I don't know. That wasn't really what Monster Cat was going for. I mean, sure, there's like 8 future-based tracks, but like still, they're not like some down tempo shit.
It's not like Suicide Sheep or something,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on to the next one, which is like we were mentioning, hard hitting. This is definitely the most energetic one of the pack. Is the Stonebank remix of The Girl, which I like the inclusion of the chops here, and I think it's got a whole lot of energy. So yeah, honestly, I think it's a pretty neat remix.
You can't have a Monster Cat remix EP without Stonebank. Let's
True.
just say that. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You can go ahead now. That's all I had to say.
Lately, I know a lot of people have their quarrels with hardcore and saying it's really generic, but I like to hear other songs that are in the hardcore genre, like songs that are remixed. And at least like when I saw Stonebank on Dream of Color, I was excited to see what he did with that in hardcore, and then you find out it's just bro step and melodic dubstep, and
Potions
then again
too.
with Potions, and
then, yeah,
I not even if you don't like hardcore, it's still interesting to see how that genre can be like any other genre could be put into that genre and it works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That also happened with the drop too, but I think for that one we never expected him to make a hardcore remix for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think we
just
knew
never.
That was Space House. We knew from the start, but we did get the Darren style, which was hardcore. So.
Mm-hmm. And then of course we got, when he was away from the Saving Light remix, we got his substitute Hixie to save the day with the hardcore remix.
Yeah, which that was bound to happen. I mean, it's Saving Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, whatever huge hit you take, there's always going to be like a hardcore remix of it somewhere, It's
Absolutely.
just inevitable.
But I think that was probably my favorite remix off the EP, and I wasn't too huge of it. Like when it first came out, I really liked the original, but now the Girl original just I don't care that much for it. Whereas this remix I like better. So
one thing I will say about The Girl is that the vocals are very good, and I think they work nicely in a lot of these remixes. Because
Yeah.
if they were all instrumentals, they'd have no identity really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever watch Dolphin Tale before Cozy appeared on Monster Cat?
I did not.
No,
I think I did when it first came out.
Actually, you know what? I don't think I watched. Well, no, actually, I didn't watch it, but I remember someone wanted me to watch it. I was like, no.
I will say this though, I did watch basketball before Shaquille O'Neal appeared on Disciple, so you can at least give me that one.
But that's different, man.
I was watching basketball before I saw Shaquille O'Neal mosh somebody into oblivion in Tomorrowland.
I was listening to dubstep before you were born.
Epic.
Shaquille O'Neal literally murders Tomorrowland Raver. This is so sad.
There's like this clip of it's Shaquille O'Neal at like the front fence, and I think it's like Nothing by Modestep is playing, like the track Mode Step in Virtual Riot, and he's like headbanging, and he's holding someone next to him, and the guy's like getting like thrown back and forth.
Didn't he hold up Tokyo Machine, or he was like headbanging to a Tokyo Machine song?
Yeah, he held up Tokyo Machine.
I think I saw it was like some clip of him, you know, he was like headbanging probably to nothing, and then they speed it up, and it's like that one, it's like some stupid music behind it.
That's music.
Probably that, yeah.
And then we had him in the My Cloud music video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was like, like it's kind of weird because like he's famous, but at the same time he's kind of just there.
Yeah, definitely. Like the music video just stops and Grabbits is like Shaq, and then it just kind of like keeps going from there, and that's kind of it.
That one's kind of wacky.
And then he's just dancing with them. Yeah.
I think my favorite clip. This goes way back, but when Shaq was DJing, he played Beast by Reach and GP.
My bad.
I mean, that's honestly how I think of that song anyway. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know why, but that clip is like my favorite clip of Shaq, like just headbanging and like the smoke shit's going off and like everyone's headbanging. It's I don't know.
Now I want to see him headbang into the windows.
Where's your dubstep remix of it when you need it?
True.
Probably like some 13-year-old who made it in like a cracked version of FL Studio.
True.
And just uploaded it to YouTube and was like, here's my 7 subscriber special.
Yeah. I'm okay, I'm sorry guys, but I gotta talk about this shit for a second. So when I was in seventh grade, me and a friend, we were like, let's start a band together. Let's fucking make some EDM shit.
Amazing.
And so we downloaded this program, I forget what it's called now, but it was pretty much you get a 16x16 grid, and up and down controls the pitch, and then left and right controls when the note goes off. And so we'd make these songs on it, and they were shit. And so we released like one album, and then he decided, oh, you know what, fuck you, I'm gonna leave. So
that's how bands be like, though.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, bet. So I made a second album doing this, and then I kind of left the project alone for a while, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a third album, and this time I actually like did some production, but it was shit production. Like if you guys have ever heard of the website Soundtrap, like that's what I was using, and like shitty loops and shit. Like I did a few original songs, and those were okay, but not good. And then I did these remixes. I did one of Deeper Love, I did one of Just Like That, and I did one of Pink Cloud. And like I didn't know how to fucking do a remix because I got the stems, but like I barely did anything to them. Hold on, I gotta.
So it's just the stems. Okay.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
That's acapella.
That's like what I did when I was like, I want to say like 11, is that I found like a DJ app and I found some tracks on the internet, and my consideration of a remix was just like putting like 50,000 filters on it.
Yeah.
This sounds like 100 gex.
Oh my god. I don't even know how to explain it. I really don't. God, why the fuck was that?
Almost better than some of them on that package now.
Damn, it really do be like that.
He's just not holding back. He's going hard.
Yeah, fucking hell. And then like I did a remix also of End Is Near, and so I started off with just like the instrumental, and I think I just kept the instrumental, and this was the first one I did. So it was the instrumental, and then the vocals and like everything else comes in the second drop, and that's the remix. Like no real changes other than I just cut out some stems here and there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm trying to think because I'm sure that there's at least one remix on the label where it's like that, and it's just doesn't change anything. But I can't. Haha. I mean, this isn't Monster Cat, but heckin' Go Slow remixes on Bitbird.
Also, our Osmo's remix of Dea by Televisor doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
right.
how about that Capital A remix?
Yeah, capital A time. For me at least, my thoughts on it, it's kind of a sleeper, honestly. It's just a song that exists, doesn't really do anything to grab my attention, you know.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what I like about it. Like, I kind of like this really calm vibe. I think that's Capital A singing, but I like that he like didn't just take the vocals. Like, he actually like made his own vocals. And I don't know. This is like probably one of my favorite on the comp. Maybe the Feed remix beats it out a little bit. I don't know.
I think the biggest problem that I have with this one is that I'm good with it being like very down tempo, but it's just with like the girl vocals on it, and especially like, near the end, it feels like it's building up to something, but it never really pays off. It just kind of goes back down into ambience.
Yeah.
Which, it's kind of just, it exists.
Yeah, definitely.
Weirdly enough, just looking at it, it's 407 in length, and it's the shortest remix.
Yeah.
Which is really surprising. Like, 407 is...
407 would be like the longest track of the month for 2020.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, actually, out of the ones that we talked about, there's only 2 songs out of the 8 that are longer than that, and one is only like 3 seconds longer.
Bro, nice.
I don't remember who said this, but there was like, I think people found like, I think it was like from Spotify credits, but if I remember correctly, Capital A is a scrapped down-tempo project of Hellberg and somebody else, similar to like Unlovable was for Abstract.
Wait, who was Unlovable, like, composed?
Unlovable was Abstract and Pauline Her.
Yeah.
Who both did the one.
But yeah, that's interesting. I had no idea, which is neat to see. And then Hellberg decided to go the pop route and just go straight up radio music.
Yeah, fucking leave behind Monster Cat. You know?
Even though he still says he's the true CEO of Monster
Cat. That's funny though.
Yeah, he's been around since like 2011. So he was really an OG, but now he's just gone.
I'm still holding out hope that he'll have a release on the 10-year.
That would be neat, but
if that's
who knows?
it, like that's the only comeback that he has since Synchronize.
VIP.
Yeah.
I kind of want them to do what Warp did. I kind of like forget, but I think they did like remixes. Yeah, I'm looking real quick because I kind of forget.
Because Warp Records for the 20th anniversary did it was 4 different compilations. One was selected by fans and the label founders, which was like a best of. The second was remixes of like popular tracks done by Warp artists. The third was unreleased stuff, and then the fourth was like a big like hour-long mashup.
Dang.
Yeah, they did for Warp 10. It was influences, which were like earlier tracks that like influenced like their stuff. There was the classics, which I don't know, I can't tell if that's like the classics on the label, and then the third one was remixes of the classics,
which is kind of similar to what Monster Cat did for the 3rd year or for the 3-year anniversary, because it was the compilation was all already released stuff, but like iconic music. But then they kind of just dropped that for everything else.
Yeah,
and then Warp pussied out on the 3rd-year anniversary and just re-released a bunch of live EPs.
I'm kind of sad about that. I just thought about that.
Flying Lotus jazz thing was pretty neat though.
I think they'll do something like 5-year, but twice as big, or at least like have a few like not necessarily uncaged collabs, but 3 artist collabs.
Yeah, because with honestly 9-year was quite underwhelming with only like the 6 tracks. But 10 years the big one, you got to go big or go home for that one, because that's kind of an important year.
The 9-year felt a lot like they were just trying to have something that could be in between the 8-year and whatever they're doing for 10-year.
Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything for 9-year.
Yeah,
I was like, well, hey, it's 9 years, whatever. Do something on your socials. But no. Yeah. I mean,
at first I thought it was going to be the Rocket League remixes, because Rocket League Volume 1 was basically the 7-year anniversary, basically is what it was interpreted as for some people, and it was originally, we're still getting the Rocket League remixes as far as I know. That'll be in August, but I think a lot of people at first, or at least I did, assume that was going to be a 9-year thing. where it wasn't officially a 9-year anniversary, but that's what was happening.
Finally escaping from the girl remixes, moving on to the next track. We've got another oldie turning 8 years, is Don't Push Me by Tut Tut Child. And similar to the other 8 years, this just suffers from old, as Jace likes to put it. It's very, very dated, and even with good production, it's really just a bland concept in my opinion in general. So yeah, it's really just nothing I'd ever listen to.
Yeah. If you were going to like put this updated production, it would just be Coffee Black by Feed Me. That's just pretty much all my thoughts on it. It's just a very boring dubstep track.
Yeah.
The vocals are terrible. I don't.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really just nothing there to salvage, to be honest. Which, I mean, no disrespect to Tut Tut Child, because obviously their more recent stuff and Forest Knot has been quite good, but obviously everyone has those old tracks that just kind of age very poorly, and this is one of them. Moving on, following one, this is also my birthday release, which is pretty neat, which is the Dirty Phonics and Riot collab, Got Your Love. I think it's kind of a banger. It's not too memorable, but it's nice for what it is, and it's a cool hype track.
I'll agree with that, word for word.
Yeah, same here.
The one thing is like right before the build up starts, where it's like bass and then there's this one percussion hit that it reminds me so much of a song by Losi called Heart Attack, where the drop is pretty much like that, but just done a lot better. But
so then you just rather listen to that one, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's even like it's just like that bassy intro, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. Is that they're very shockingly similar, but. Other than that, I never really got much from this track, maybe because I just wasn't around when it came out or I wasn't around like the fan base when it came out, but this just never stuck out to me as like a good release, or not like a good release, but like not like a memorable release.
Yeah, because another thing is that this is Riot's, I think it is both of their second tracks, and Riot debuted with what's
Disorder.
It called? Disorder. Yeah, which
they had the remix. They had the remix of
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but barring that, it's Disorder, which we got a version of it on the album, so that became memorable. And then Dirty Phonics, of course, debuted with the Dream, the Impossible release collab.
Oh yeah.
Which, even looking back on it now, we've had so many huge artists signed to the label that even that one's kind of become forgettable. So this one just kind of inevitably became a forgettable release. But you know, it's a nice track though. But it's not, like you mentioned, it's not super memorable or anything. So moving on, we've got Carissa by Desert Star, which is already turning a year old, and at least my thoughts on it is kind of the same as a lot of Desert Star tracks. It's a track that exists. I really don't like or dislike it. I just don't care for it, honestly.
I think this is like the first Desert Star track where a lot of his like style started to really wear off for me, because this was I think like the second time he tried to recreate Ocean Eyes, the first time being like One Way Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Desert Star has a habit of either recreating Ocean Eyes or like Foreign Land, which is just trying way too hard to be M83.
Yeah, like one thing with Desert Star for me is it is very hit and miss. I'm not sure if it's like hit then miss like exactly, but it's very I don't know. Like, you know, I loved Ocean Eyes. One Way Dream is really forgettable. This was really good. I like, you know, the vocals and stuff. And then I don't even know what his next
Foreign
track
Land
was.
came before this one.
Foreign Land was, I think that was okay, but like I didn't really enjoy it as much as this. And then I like this. And
I'll agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, and like the point is he's very hit and miss. Like, yeah.
It's also really generic to himself. Like, he doesn't change
generic
that much.
Desert Star, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't change that much. Like, I'll agree with exactly what you said. I really like Ocean Eyes. One Way Dream, not that much. Foreign Land, it's not bad, but it's not great. And then Carissa, I just absolutely love this song. Like, even though it's only like 2:26 or something in length, I still really love it.
Yeah,
is he even still using the J Cosmic alias, or has he just
not really?
that?
No. Which is kind of sad. Like, I like, his stuff like Ascend.
Yeah, Ascend was kind of a banger, I won't lie.
Yeah, like, I want to see him kind of go back to that banger style, at least for like a couple releases,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he completely pulled a flip-flop on us.
Yeah, he really debated.
I will say with Carissa, even though like I am really not a fan of the track, I will say that this is probably Desert Star's best vocal performance on any of his tracks.
Yeah, I can agree
works
there.
really well on this.
So I also really like the artwork. Like I just love his artwork style, where it's just the wide open expanse, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for
that one's good, and Ocean Eyes is good. But which one was the one where it was like a road, but
Empty Sky? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Empty Sky. That one was kind of wacky.
Yeah, I remember when Apple introduced those like dynamic wallpaper things, I knew I was like, oh, I need to figure out how to make some of these, and like those were the like artworks that I really jumped to because they're easy landscape type things that I could do really quickly. And even though I don't think I ever really, yeah, they do look nice. Like they're good wallpapers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on, we got on the same day turning 8 years, Too Simple by Tristram and Stephen Walking, which it's a nostalgic track, but honestly, aside from the nostalgia, it's really not that good. It's really dated, but at least it's got the nostalgia going for it, which the other turning 8 year tracks don't really have. But aside from that, it's not really that great.
Yeah, it suffers from that old dubstep, but nostalgia kind of brings it up.
Mm-hmm.
And like the vocals are better than the other 3 songs that we discussed.
Yeah.
I think I don't have any nostalgia for this track, so I just think it just sucks. So, oh well.
Some things in life are just too simple.
Yeah,
it's true.
I do want a Tristram and Stephen Walking collab in like 2020. That would be very cool.
Yeah, that would be neat because imagine heckin' like I don't know.
If that was on his Redacted, then maybe that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
True, but
that's never
I was thinking
out.
of like
yeah.
Is Tristram even ever going to release again? We just you can't say because
it'll be tomorrow.
True, but he'll like release like 20-second previews once a year, and that's like the extent of his activity. So we got 2 more tracks to run through. Somehow, Love Back On, Summer Was Fun, is already turning 3 years old. As far as the track itself, I don't know what's the consensus on it, but I actually really enjoy it. Vocals are good, and I think the drop works really well. It's a nice track.
I agree.
Yeah, this is like this should be a track that I like absolutely tear apart just because it's like a very basic future-based track, but everything just fits together so well. Emily Sirius or however you pronounce the last name.
Tobias
her
Stank
vocals,
Jar.
Yeah, but anyways, Love Back On. The vocals like really work with the track, and then I think it's like a string. It's like a violin type thing that plays in the second drop that works. Like
that's really cool.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the song, like I'll agree with what you guys are saying. Like the song's a little underwhelming, but it's great. Like it's better than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to note the artwork I love so much.
Yes,
like I also love his artwork style where it's actual pictures with drawings on them, and I believe Connell McCarthy took this picture, and the full image has like it's like a canoe shed where it's like you just drive your
you drive your canoe.
Paddle your canoe right up into it. Whatever it is.
Be right back. Gotta
But
take this baby for a drive. Ooh.
Do some 6 spins.
Pump the gas on my canoe, bro.
And I also love like the detail in the reflections too.
Yeah, that's neat. It's really a wholesome kind of cover art.
Yeah.
So then, last one on our throwbacks list that was extremely long today because we had 2 weeks to cover, but our last one is Chase It by World, which I mean, I think it's pretty much agreed upon that it's a good track. It's catchy, good vocals, and fun production, you know?
Yeah. I think that on that EP, I think that Little Too Close was the better track. Like,
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, honestly, like, that's probably in my top 100, maybe top 50. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's in the top 100, you know. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, but we're not talking about Little Too Close. We're talking about Chase It. So let's go back to talking about Chase It.
It's good. It's world synth pop. It is very nice.
Yeah.
I think my one complaint is that Savoy's vocals at the very end, like something about it is very off to me. But yeah,
it's also one of those songs that is really whistleable.
Yeah,
you can really whistle it like this. Do You, Don't You, and Who's Got Your Love are songs that every time it plays, I have to whistle to it.
Nice.
Like it's just so, it's just like really like swingy in its sounds or like.
Yeah, but it's a very nice and upbeat track that I think serves its purpose really well.
It's also really weird. I was just looking at the dates. It was a pre-release for the EP like a month and a half before the EP came out. August 24th was the EP, and July 17th, I think it said, was this track, which is like a really big
gap.
Time. Yeah, gap.
Bro, imagine if, I don't know, I'm forgetting the name, but the one Lazo track on the Stars layout was the pre-release for the album.
Oh my god.
That'd be funny.
Sphere.
Yeah, Sphere. Bro, we would have been kept waiting for a long time.
But when it released, it would be like the moment that everybody remembers.
True. It would have been huge, but I don't even know if Lazo himself was thinking
He
of
didn't
making an
know.
EP back then.
He definitely didn't know.
Yeah.
And even if he did, imagine if you have your pre-release for an album that you haven't finished. That would be incredibly stressful, you know? So
Yeah.
Like we knew that there was going to be an album when Gravity came out, I believe, but we didn't know that those songs were going to be out until he released that blurred picture of the track list, which was in like October or something.
And then the album came, what was it, December?
Yeah, or something like that. Maybe it was November he released the picture, but no one knew, and that was really shocking to everyone, because I think that still currently is the longest time between an EP or an LP and an album. I think Disorder, if that was put on, it would have been like 2 months shy of that, but which doesn't, like, for me, the time frame between Sphere and Liftoff seems like 1,000 years, whereas Disorder and Dogma Resistance seems like 2 months.
Yeah, because they're at least they're in the same layout, you know. But Sphere is back when we had still, bro. Tristram has to like when he doesn't release his album, he has to put like Frame of Mind or something on it to beat out Laszlo.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He puts like what's it, Devotion.
If Fixo's working on an EP, I think he could put a dubstep called Rock and Roll on it. Which will actually surprisingly be his first EP, other than Some Wobbles, which doesn't really count.
Because it's really
and a
not.
remix.
Yeah.
But I was looking at like what are some of the really old artists that haven't released an EP on the label? Faint, Afixa.
What'd be wild is that if there's just like a Going Quantum EP with like all of his releases so far plus like one new track.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't think Noise Storm, other than Surge, which doesn't really count.
Yeah.
He had like I think it was like the Backlash.
Oh yeah, he had
Backlash. Renegade, I think, or
that one was an EP that does count. That one was that's an EP that exists.
Yeah, Renegade EP. But like, there's so few artists like that back then that still haven't released an EP. And like Stephen Walking has, but it's that one EP from 2011. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the extremely
Christian
bad
the
one.
Lion.
yeah.
Favorite EP on the label. Oh yeah.
I remember I made like a giant spreadsheet where I tried to like, where I think I finished it, where I gave like every Monster Cat song a rating. And I remember scrolling through Christian and Lion, and it was literally like 1, 1, 1, 1, 7.
Yeah, I think
Amazing.
that's everyone's opinion on it.
Yeah.
All right.
I think some people like the Knuckles and Broken Goggles, but yeah.
Like honestly, for 2011 dubstep standards, they're decent, but for music standards, 2011 dubstep standards is like literally the floor. You know, that's some of, like, the
2011
worst-
dubstep is the one that everyone makes fun of.
Yeah, it is the runt of E EDM.
It's
All
the
right.
big room of dubstep.
Let's all make 2011 dubstep again. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 5 minutes.
That was actually incredible, bro. All right, so we still gotta figure out how to finish this one off. Got any ideas?
There's a catalog mailbox series, so if you haven't submitted to that, that'd be very cool.
Oh yeah, do catalog mailbox.
Yeah, there's only
I am
2
not.
episodes.
I should know about this shit because I used to run this sheet. And So please explain.
Okay, so catalog mailbox. So far, I think there's only 2 episodes up. It's Carter's and then mine. But it's both each of us pick 10 songs that we think define our taste the most, and then people submit 10 more songs like as recommendations. We like there's a channel where we just say like if they've added to the playlist or not, and then later I think there's going to be like a top 15 or top 20 of the songs that we didn't know already, like ranked for our personal selections.
Like the best ones, yeah.
Yeah, the best ones.
Bro,
So, yeah.
IMG used to run the sheet, but he probably doesn't even know that we do a podcast or have a YouTube channel. Bro.
Okay, all right. I did know about the YouTube channel. I didn't know about this podcast until you literally sent me that video in DM.
All right.
I keep forgetting we have a Patreon.
Wait, what?
Don't donate to the Patreon.